What was the Oscar Best Picture mix-up moment like?
Was there a mix-up on the La La Land? I'm fucking with
Oh,
you.
was it? Oh, I don't remember.
Something happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
The experience was incredible. Damien Chazelle, who wrote and directed the film, we had got to know him a little bit prior because of his film Whiplash was the same season that John won the Oscar with Common for Selma. So we all got to know each other through that process. Damien actually was born and spent the early part of his years in my hometown. So we kind of just bonded over all this really cool stuff. And when he was putting La La Land together, it was without us. He was just doing it with his team and his folks. And he called me and was like, hey, do you think John would write a song for the movie? And I said, well, he just won an Oscar for that. So what more do you got? And and he basically, we chuckled, and I was like, can we come in and like physically go make this movie with you guys? And obviously the answer was like, we couldn't physically be like the capital P producers on this movie because that was already established and we understood it and the ship had sailed. But we did get the opportunity to come in as executive producers and kind of, roll up our sleeves a little bit and kind of get engaged with the creative process. We ultimately created an opportunity for John to act in the movie, which was really important to us. And he did do a couple of songs as well. So the whole experience working with Damien and Fred Berger and just all the other producers, Mark Platt, Jordan, like it was just a really great experience for us. And it was the first time professionally that the town saw us as producers in a really, really significant way because there was a bigger audience because it was a white movie. And that really kind of hit its pinnacle at the Oscars because we had this incredible run. We won literally every Best Picture award. I remember joking with, ironically, a kid who I grew up with and went to high school with. His name is David Finkel. He's one of the co-founders of A24, which had funded, financed, and produced Moonlight. And we've been beating them in every category. And it was really fun to talk smack to my fellow Philly friend. And right before the Oscars announcement, like literally during the show, I was joking, well, at least you only have to lose to us one more time. And of course, as we all know, Warren Beatty, Faye Dunaway, the Oscar goes to La La Land. We all rush the stage and it's this incredible moment. And Platt is making his speech. He just won his first Oscar. We're so excited for him. And then Jordan kind of got up there and did his thing. And as it was transitioning from Jordan to Fred, I remember this vividly. Emma Stone's next to me, clutching her Oscar. John's behind me, Damien, Linus, our DP. Everyone's on stage celebrating. And all of a sudden, the little man with headsets runs out. And he goes, he said, you didn't win. And we're like, what are you talking about?
That's how he said it?
Yeah. He's like,
you didn't win.
But no one really knows what he's talking about or why he's there. And I remember Emma's like clutching her Oscar, Birds fan, and she's like, what's going on? And then he puts the card that the whole world saw Jordan wave in front of my face. And we see that it's the card and it reads, it's the actual winner's card. And it says Jeremy Gardner, or Dee Gardner, all these like people we know that produced Moonlight. And we're like, holy shit. And I remember John kind of being like, is it a tie? And the guy's like, no tie. And then he walked away and then the world saw everything that kind of happened after that. But with all that said, the experience was surreal for sure.
Because I was there that night. And it was a big mix up, but I didn't know that on the actual card,
so
were there two cards?
What happens is there's two cards on, yes, there's two cards.
Okay.
This is at least my understanding. There's two cards for each award, one on stage left, one stage right. Depending on which side of the stage the presenter walks in, they hand them the card. So if the person hands them the card stage right, then the person stage left disposes of the card.
I see.
That's what's supposed to happen.
But they both say the same thing?
Correct.
Okay.
That's my understanding. So whatever happened, the person who was supposed to dispose of the Best Actress card, which said Emma Stone, La La Land, did not. And then the next award was Best Picture, and he handed that card to Warren Beatty. And Warren Beatty...
That's why the confusion.
Right, because he saw it. It said Emma Stone, La La Land. La La Land. He didn't know how to handle it in real time. Showed it to Faye Dunaway, who presumed it was going to be La La Land anyway, because we won all the other awards. And it said La La Land on the card. And it wasn't like she was like studying it. He was just kind of
No.
like, hey, you read it.
Yes.
And then she said La La Land because it said it on the
They
card.
said Emma Stone, La
And
La Land.
and that was from our understanding, that's what happened.
That makes
And
sense.
apparently the guy who gave the wrong card was understandably caught up in the moment and was taking pictures and posting them of like Emma or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what we heard. All good. But I will tell you this, when it actually happened,
That's all good.
it's not good, but when it actually happened, and, John and I went from being the two brothers on stage to just like all of us on stage. And we also realized as much as we love La La Land and that experience will live with us forever, we also knew that a film like Moonlight was much more akin to the type of films that we want to be making and the stories we want to be telling. And we knew in that moment that was a really, really big win for us.
Yes, it was.
And I always look at that moment in that lens of like, that was a win for Black Hollywood.